Welcome to this powerful message inspired by the timeless teachings of Neville Goddard, one of the most profound voices in the realm of manifestation and the creative power of the human imagination. Today, we dive into a truth so simple, so liberating, that it has the potential to change your life the moment you allow it to take root within your consciousness. That truth is this: you don't need to try so hard. It's already yours. You've been taught your whole life that success comes from struggle, that love must be earned, that happiness is something to chase. But what if none of that is true? What if the very act of trying is what pushes your desires further away? Neville Goddard taught that creation is already finished, that what you want already exists, and you don't need to fight for it, beg for it, or exhaust yourself to get it. Instead, you simply have to accept it as yours now. In the next few moments, I invite you to settle in, breathe deeply, and listen with an open heart. This isn't just another motivational video, it's a call to return to your divine inheritance, to recognize that everything you want is already yours, right here, right now. Let's begin. You have been conditioned since childhood to believe that the more you strive, the more you sweat, the more hours you put in, the more worthy you become of having the things you desire. This idea is so deeply embedded into society that to suggest otherwise sounds absurd to most people. But Neville Goddard's message isn't concerned with societal norms or cultural programming, it's concerned with truth. And the truth is this: everything you want, everything you long for, already exists in the invisible realm. It is yours the moment you claim it in imagination. Neville often said that imagination is God, and what you imagine with feeling becomes your reality. So why, then, do we try so hard? Why do we exhaust ourselves emotionally, mentally, and spiritually trying to bring forth something that is already ours? It's because we've been taught to believe in lack. We've been taught to believe that we are separate from our desires, that they are out there, somewhere, and we must chase them down. But nothing could be further from the truth. In fact, the very act of chasing proves you don't yet believe it is yours. And what you believe about yourself is what the world mirrors back to you. When you believe you must strive, the world gives you more striving. When you believe you are not enough, the world confirms that belief over and over again. But if you can shift your awareness, just a little, and begin to accept that your desire is already fulfilled, you will find that the world reshapes itself to reflect that new conviction. Neville said, "Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled." Not work harder, not beg and plead, but assume. Step into it mentally, emotionally, spiritually. This is not pretending. This is not daydreaming. This is creation. When you assume that what you want is already yours, you become one with it in consciousness. And when that union happens, the world must bend to your inner state. You no longer need to push. You no longer need to force. You rest. You allow. You receive. The trying stops because the having begins. The need disappears because the fulfillment has arrived, not in the future, not someday, but now, in this sacred moment. So the first step in this journey is radical trust. Not trust in something outside of you, but trust in your imagination. Trust that what you feel, what you see within, is more real than anything your senses tell you. And in that trust, stop trying. Stop grasping. Rest in the knowing that it's already yours. He said to live in the end, to go to the place in your imagination where your desire is already fulfilled, and to dwell there emotionally, mentally, spiritually. Not once. Not twice. But consistently. Live from that state until it feels more real than what your senses are showing you. This is not about ignoring reality, it's about understanding that reality is always catching up to who you are being inside. The old way, the way of effort, struggle, and trying hard, only perpetuates the illusion that you do not yet have what you want. But when you stop trying and start assuming, something magical happens. You release resistance. You release tension. You step into flow. You no longer grasp, because you no longer need to. Your need has already been answered the moment you assumed its fulfillment. The more you try, the more you tell the universe that you don't yet believe. But the moment you stop trying, when you finally say, "It is done," and you mean it, that's when you allow what's already yours to unfold naturally. That's when the path reveals itself. That's when coincidences line up. That's when things begin to shift, not because you forced them, but because you aligned with them. You've spent so long trying to get something, when all along, you only needed to accept it. So I ask you, who would you be if you stopped trying? What if you laid down the burden of striving and simply stepped into the version of you who already has it? That version of you exists. Right now. And it's only a shift in awareness away. Let's take this idea even deeper, because the transformation happens not by merely understanding it intellectually, but by absorbing it into your being. Consider how you feel when you are trying hard, whether you're trying to manifest money, a relationship, success, or peace. Trying has a specific energy. It's filled with tension, pressure, expectation, and most of all, doubt. You try because you believe that you are not already in possession of what you desire. You try because you still see it as separate from you, distant from you, and outside of your reach. But Neville Goddard taught that the law of consciousness is absolute. You are always experiencing a reflection of what you believe to be true about yourself and your world. If you believe it is hard to get something, then it will be hard. If you believe you must suffer or sacrifice to receive something, then suffering and sacrifice will become your reality. But the moment you shift from trying to assuming, from chasing to claiming, everything changes. Imagine this, close your eyes if you can and picture yourself holding in your hands the very thing you've wanted for so long. Feel its texture. Smell its scent. Hear the sounds it brings. See the details. Now ask yourself, what would you feel if you truly had it right now? Would you still feel pressure? Would you still be trying? No. You'd be at peace. You'd be content. You'd be in a state of deep gratitude. And that emotional state is the bridge. It is the vibrational doorway through which your desire walks into your world. This is what Neville meant when he said, feeling is the secret. It's not about faking it. It's about entering the state of the wish fulfilled so completely that the outer world must eventually conform to that inner conviction. And here's the mystery, the moment you stop trying and surrender to the feeling that it is already done, you open yourself to receive. People think surrender means giving up. But in truth, surrender means aligning. You stop fighting the current. You let go of the frantic energy that says, "I don't have it," and you drop into the calm energy that says, "Of course I do." This is not delusion, it's creation. You are the operant power. You are not at the mercy of fate or luck or other people's approval. You don't need to earn what's already yours. All you have to do is become the version of yourself who already has it. That shift in identity is everything. The world around you is plastic to your inner assumptions. So stop pushing. Stop praying from a place of desperation. Instead, begin to thank the universe, thank your imagination, thank God, thank yourself, for already having what you once believed was far away. This is not a technique. This is a way of life. And the moment you choose to live from the end, the moment you embody the feeling of having, not wanting, that's when the outer shifts begin, not through effort, but through alignment. So ask yourself now, what would I feel if it were already done? Then feel that. Live that. Be that. And watch the world mirror your new state back to you in ways that will feel like miracles, but they're not miracles. They're the natural result of knowing it's already yours. Let's bring this home in a way that touches your daily life. Because it's one thing to hear these words, to nod your head, to agree with the message, it's another thing to actually live it. But Neville Goddard never intended his teachings to be admired from a distance. They were meant to be applied, practiced, embodied. Every single day you wake up, you are presented with two choices, to try harder in desperation or to surrender to the knowing that it's already done. Most people will default to trying. It's what we've been trained to do. You feel lack, so you try to fix it. You feel lonely, so you try to find someone. You feel poor, so you try to make money. But the trying is the trap. You feel lonely, so you try to find someone. You feel poor, so you try to make money. But the trying is the trap. The more you try, the more you reinforce the identity of someone who does not have. That identity then becomes your prison. But the moment you shift and say, I already am, I already have, I already am the version of myself who lives this desire, you step into a different reality. Not in theory. In truth. Because your world is only ever showing you who you are being inside. Neville said, you rise to a higher level of being by assumption, not by effort. That's why people who stop obsessing over results often get results faster. That's why people who surrender seem to receive effortlessly. They're not receiving because they tried less, they're receiving because they aligned more. The work was never in the outer world. The work is inner. You don't need to fight for your dream. You need to accept that you are already the dream fulfilled. And yes, it takes courage to do this. Courage to stop striving. Courage to stop waiting. Courage to stop asking the world for permission to feel complete. But the moment you choose to live from the end, you will begin to see everything differently. Your imagination becomes your sanctuary. Your feelings become your compass.